Our broadcast has already been thwarted once, Charles.
Amazing, Jason. They don't mess
Well, I'm
around.
sure there's a lot of radio equipment in use by the cops over here, so let's get on our walk here.
You want to go this way? Or
Yeah, sure. Let's go this way.
So we stay
I
out
have a
of...
feeling I'm going to become extremely annoyed today, Charles.
Well, this actually, for those who... We haven't, I don't think, walked this way before. On our right is the first playground that I played in New York City when I was 3. And it's greatly expanded since 1959.
I would hope.
But literally just around this time of year, I got here Memorial Day weekend, 1959, and could easily imagine myself being somebody like that kid there, rushing to get in the park, playground. I remember it was a big deal to graduate. They used to have metal swings, now they're plastic, but to graduate from the metal ones on the right to the other ones used to be...
Big boy swings?
The bigger boy swings, or girl swings, because you could fall off the back very easily. We good?
Let me see here. So one of the things that I wanted to let people know, yeah, we seem to be back here.
Yeah. So
Buffering here, they're saying. Let me just real quickly let everybody know, Charles. I'm as recently as this morning getting messages from people saying, hey, where have you guys been for weeks? Crowdsource the Truth Forever is back. It's been in YouTube jail. I would have thought that people would know by now that if they don't see videos from Crowdsource the Truth for several days or weeks, just search for Crowdsource the Truth on YouTube and you'll find Crowdsource the Truth 5 or whatever the latest number is. But anybody watching us now on Crowdsource the Truth 4, Crowdsource the Truth Forever, I actually have created, Charles, a handy little tool that will hopefully help people find us in the future. No bikes, but there's one. And if people just scroll down to the bottom of the Crowdsource the Truth Forever page, you'll see all these related channels, including the Sunday with Charles channel, the High Dive with Lee Stranahan channel, David Hawkins, John Cullen, and whatever future iteration of Crowdsource the Truth, and Larry Klayman's Citizens Grand Juries. So I've done that to try to help people find us when malicious strikes take out the channel, because there are miscreants, maniacs, and psychopaths who live in RVs that won't let up.
Not to mention ne'er-do-wells.
Ne'er-do-wells.
I'll go that way.
Schizophrenic maniacs with stinky feet and horrible diets who are about to get pounded into dust by a federal judge. It'll be great when that happens. Anyway.
So we're now getting close to your old stomping grounds, but we've got to remember where, I don't remember where West Broadway is, other than it's west of Broadway.
Yeah.
I think it's over here.
So we should tell people what we're endeavoring to do here.
Well,
damn it, I had a list I wanted to bring you of the organizations that guy is involved in.
Well, yeah, I mean, we want to get in on the program, because, or at least you want to get in on the program of all this art you've done, all these posters. We got this book. Why do an art book when you can go to a gallery and sell the shit for $500,000 a copy? I mean, don't you want that? Don't you want that deal?
I wouldn't mind. I mean, I'm coming nowhere near that amount. There are a lot of generous sponsors who have been supporting Crowdsource the Truth on subscribestar.com. Yeah, that's a BMW i8. Nice. But people, Charles, have been supporting Crowdsource the Truth on subscribestar.com/crowdsource the truth and patreon.com/crowdsource the truth. Not to the tune of $500,000.
Yeah.
Yes, but I do definitely appreciate the generous sponsors. People can also support the Counter Lawfare Fund by going to crowdsourcethetruth.com. I've still got a link up to Freedom Watch's amazing Third Continental Congress there, and people can also select from any of these sponsorship opportunities for the Counter Lawfare Fund. It really is important that people sponsor that, because I'm not just defending these lawsuits for me. My hope is to shine a light on this really reprehensible practice of using the civil, and in some people's cases even the criminal, justice system as a weapon. And it's an effective tool for those who know how to use it. I just finished reading Sheriff Joe Arpaio's book. He is an American legend, but it's clear to me, Charles, that the Barack Obama Justice Department, particularly under the reprehensible Eric Holder, was used against Sheriff Arpaio, and it's just become a regular practice, this revolving door of going from the Department of Justice into these powerful law firms,
Right.
it really creates a pathway for economic destruction to anybody who is a target of these people.
And what we learn, in fact, when you get into complex financial transactions or other matters, the government appears either unwilling or unable or both to get to the bottom of the true magnitude of these frauds and money laundering, corruption exercises. And they're stymied in part because people like Eric Holder and others constantly are going back and forth between government and these powerful law firms.
Yeah.
And the powerful law firms are populated by design, and banks and accounting firms, with Democrats and Republicans alike, to make sure that the elites, the supposed elites, as Trump would say, you're the real elites, and I mean that. Whether he means that or not, I don't know. But so that these supposed elites can keep their boots on your neck
Right.
and grind your faces into the dirt for the rest of your lives, distracting you with beer and circuses, basically.
There's another thing that it does, Charles. It creates a wannabe class of scumbag attorneys
Right.
who want to demonstrate that they're down for that type of play.
Right.
So even if they're incompetent, like, I don't know, Stephen Biss, they want to cut their teeth, and I guess perhaps working for David Nunes is some sort of audition.
Or his cow. Or his
The cow actually is smarter than Nunes himself. See, everybody loves Nunes because he wrote that memo, but I don't trust the guy at all. I tried to warn him about working with Stephen Biss.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he and others fall into the mold that Hillary Clinton and others have said. I'm sick and tired of politicians getting up and saying, I want to spend my entire life fighting for you. Actually, I want you to spend your entire life doing something else. You don't need to fight for me. If I want to fight, I'll fight for myself.
Right.
And we don't need to create this massive bureaucracy. I mean, next thing you know, we'll have people regulating the collectors of these reusable cans. You see this lady?
Oops.
You down?
Wait a second. Something happened here where I'm now clicking on ads. A lot of butt dialing going on. I hope I didn't create any moderators or anything weird. Sorry, Charles.
It's all right. But we have busybodies who want to create departments of more busybodies to bother us so that they can charge us more money, hire more subcontractors, get those subcontractors to do any of the work they're supposedly doing, while they meanwhile go around collecting awards and honorarium, book contracts, Netflix deals, etc., for their great service to us.
What's more sinister than that? Far more sinister. Not only are these subcontractors doing things that we expect the government to be doing, by creating that convoluted path to getting it done,
Right.
they in many cases enable these subcontractors to do things that the FBI, the DOJ, whoever they're outsourcing to would be barred by the Constitution from doing. But because these subcontractors are not themselves the actual agencies, there's more ways they can skate around these laws and do this type of lawfare
Right.
to get all kinds of stuff done.
Now, I'm unsure which way West Broadway is.
It's that way.
It's that way? Okay. There
I
you
think
go.
it might be further west than we expect.
Right there, you? Like,
Oh, is it
right there?
Oh, there it is. Well, do you want to tell everybody what it is that we're going to do here?
Well, we're going to go shop for some art.
It's going to
You
be
know,
nice.
we don't. I don't like crack, so I'm not going to be shopping for crack. But I'm kind of partial to people who can beat crack and become successful and productive. So I hear there's such a person who, at one time, was a graduate of Yale Law School. He's so smart and honest. Yeah, the garbage department.
That's quite a stink over there.
That is. He's so smart and, quote, honest that he was on the board of Amtrak. You know, whatever qualified him to do that. I mean, you could take 16 bums off the street in Grand Central Station and they'd be more qualified to be on the board of Amtrak than Hunter Biden.
Who's this guy following us?
Which guy?
The weed shirt.
Yeah. This is an underappreciated, I guess you'd call it an avenue, because it runs north-south. But in my day as a kid, this was really an area that was down here was more or less a no-go zone and not really developed.
Now
But-
it's super trendy.
Super trendy, exactly, and super expensive. So I think we're looking for. This is
Cool.
we're
What's the
really
name of the
close.
gallery?
It's right across the street.
George Berger.
Right there.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Let's even cross the street because it's shady over there. Maybe we should.
Yeah. Oh, Charles, you left your Lamborghini SUV, right?
Yeah, that's my black one. I don't know why I left it in the sun.
Yeah, it's going to heat up.
I know.
So, Charles, do you think you could go in there and have a word with them?
I could try.
Yeah.
You want to just go on ahead?
Go on ahead and take a look and see what they have to
All
say.
right. Walking by the Hugo Gallery.
And then we can talk about what we've learned about.
And this is not much foot traffic around here. But I'm ambling towards the George Berge Gallery in New York and Berlin. And they apparently represent Hunter Biden. Let's see. Doesn't look... Huh.
Yeah, actually, just don't really have to.
Not open?
Funny was that someone could have just totally come with us before him sent us off the ticket. Yeah.
Let's see if Charles can get in there. Perhaps I can get across the street without getting run over.
Hi there.
Hold
Do I
on.
need to wear my face mask?
No, it's all right.
Thanks.
All vaccinated.
All right. I'm just curious. This is the gallery that represents Hunter Biden? Is that right? Just curious, do you have any of his art on? Not yet. What quantity of his art do you hope to exhibit, and price range? Just working. Okay. What other artists do you represent? Was that the young person, Jackson Pollock? Uh-huh. What's that one in the very back there on the left? Who's that? And what are you asking for that? 14,000. Can we go closer to it, or? Yeah. It's actually quite nice. What are the
What are the introductions?
influences of this painting?
I mean, he's a classically trained
Sure, of course. Mother was a musician. Is this? It doesn't look like oil paint, or is it? Though? Is it? It's some mixture, isn't it?
No, this is a mixture with acrylic and oil.
Uh huh. And that's a different artist, or is this one asking 14, and that one?
That's about 65,000.
Can I come a little bit closer?
Well, yes, but can I show you something?
Sure.
I think. Hold on. I'm gonna close up.
What?
I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. So.
Oh, okay.
But sorry about that.
No problem.
Why did they have to ask you to leave, Charles?
No problem, and fuck a voo.
Why did they ask you to leave?
He just had no explanation.
Probably saw the microphone.
Right, that's fine.
Well, all right.
But then you get a sense for the asking prices, right? You couldn't see the art, but one was 14,000. They were asking one was 60,000. Both were credible pieces of art. To be selling Hunter Biden shit for 500,000. He's on the face of it stupid.
Well, did you get to speak to the guy, George Berger?
No, he wasn't there.
So should we start discussing what we've discovered about that?
Yeah. Well, for starters, let me, if I may, talk a little bit about what I know about the art world as somebody who buys art from time to time and is familiar with collectors and professional artists. So in that type of a gallery, Chobani?
Yeah, there's a whole Lee Stranahan story with that, but please continue with the gallery.
All right, so there are many more artists and aspiring artists around the world than there is space in art galleries. So if you're trying to get into to make a serious name for yourself, it's tough to get into that type of a gallery. And typically the economics from the artists I know are that you provide the art on consignment to the gallery. So there's no capital cost to the gallery except for the running of the gallery. And you typically, the artist collects 50% of the sales price and the gallery takes another 50%. So that's a huge bite of the apple. You think about people who will tell you that their art is their blood and their life's work. You know, why would you give 50% of the value of your piece away to a gallery just for putting it up on the wall, right?
I guess the idea is you might not be able to sell it otherwise.
Well, this is pre-internet. There's now a gigantic
Right.
wall.
Good point.
And so to decide, I don't know how good that gallery is or isn't. This is a prime location here in New York for art. So, and I don't know how much of the conversation you could hear, but oh, okay. So I asked the guy, you know, why, more or less, why are you exhibiting Hunter Biden?
Crackhead art.
And it was like,
It's a new movement.
I don't know, I only work here. Okay,
Is that what they said?
more or less.
There was two people.
I
You
mean-
spoke to, a woman and then.
Yeah, the woman was the receptionist. So here's more art. I don't, you know, I doubt this is $60,000. I mean, we could ask them. You want it?
If you want, sure. Today's your art shopping
Sure.
day, Charles. Ask him what he thinks. Can we speak to you about the artwork? Yeah, there you go.
Can. Sure. Good, good. Where are you from?
From Haiti.
Haiti, in the
Oh
news.
my God.
Hi.
So what do you think about what's just happened to the president?
Wow, ask me that. Well, it's a whole brand new start.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's negative could be positive.
Yeah, I'm.
To learn from it.
I'm somebody. My name is Charles Ortel, and I'm somebody who has spent a lot of time trying to put focus on the negative rape of Haiti by the Clintons and by the people who were supposed to send money down to the Haitian people. It hasn't ended up with the Haitian people. So I'm.
Do you know where it went, or you don't know where it goes?
I'm sorry.
Do you know where it went, or you don't
Nobody knows.
know? We know.
Where do you
did it
think
go?
it went?
Oh, I know it went to Europe. Let's put it down.
Swiss banks.
This guy read
But
people's minds.
everybody in
Yo.
Haiti knows that the Clintons took the money, right?
No, that's not true. You can't blame people for that. That's big. You can't do that.
Not blaming the Haitians.
Who do you
No.
think took money?
Listen, the thing about it is that Trump knows where it goes. That's why Trump made the remark that he made last time. Because they say you can point fingers at people you don't really know, but they never tell the people, so they can not know what you say, right? I don't know why you hit on the nose, but you know.
That's my area. So tell us and our viewers a little bit about you and your art.
Oh, now we could talk about that.
Okay. What your
Well,
name
we could
first of
turn
all?
around. Jean-Pain Louis.
Jean Pen Lewis. That's
Yeah,
a great name for an
Instagram
artist.
Yes, I do. Instagram is, you can come over here, I'll show it to you on the truck.
Sure.
Take a shot of the truck.
This here? Oh yeah, Jean Pen Lewis. Is that your real name or?
Yes.
Really? Did your parents
Instead
knew,
of Saint Louis, it's Pant Louis. You know?
your parents knew you were going to be an artist?
I don't know. My father, since I was 4 years old, always dragged me to places where they do all kind of paintings, and it's the culture of, you know, our roots,
Uh-huh.
and it's expression. It's expressive, and it's the beginning.
Do you have any formal training or you just taught yourself?
I started since I was 4 years old. My mom was my main teacher,
Uh-huh.
but I had those buildings that you see here. We could take that. That's a great.
This here?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
My high school teacher taught me how to make buildings.
Oh, nice.
So as you can see, most of these buildings here are made
I see.
by, yeah,
in
by
here, yeah.
Mr. Albemarle from Wingate High School.
I see.
Yeah, that's his work. So, you know, I followed that up.
And
But,
do you sell primarily from this truck or you?
Well, this is one of the starts. I've been selling here since 2001.
Wow.
And it's so beautiful as far as like how the people embrace what I'm doing, and tourists pretty much. I sold 50 something out pieces out in this area here.
Wow.
So this is a new beginning with the truck, and there's more to come. I'm not waiting for nobody to give me a chance. I'm doing it myself.
You are an industrious guy. I like that.
Yes.
And are you, so you don't have to pay a gallery?
I have my own gallery. I'm paying for it, but it's commercials and everything inside this truck here. So yeah, I'm paying, but I don't have no gallery that will handle me or tell me which way to go.
So my understanding is that galleries charge 50% of the net.
60%.
60%.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Yes.
Take advantage of starving artists. Why not?
Right.
Yes.
So as just if we could talk about your asking prices for this art. So this beautiful painting here, what
That's
would you?
5,000.
5,000.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It's 150,000. The one over there.
Why 150?
Why this piece is called Lady with a Heart. The story behind this piece is that there's a gentleman like 5 years ago. I put the same piece on the street on this block. The man came very upset. It's like, who did this? Who did this? And like all my friends were like, we were scared. I was like, oh my God, what did we do wrong? And he says, this is the best.
It is nice.
I says, well, he says, how much do you want for this? I said, well, it's not street painting. This is a gallery piece. And I told him 150. He says, very good. He was a professor. So this piece, as you can see, the heart is in the bottom, and and everything is there.
So you're waiting for him to come back.
Oh well,
with 150,000.
It's in time. In time, it's gonna happen.
And how about that one?
Well, that's a lady with another heart, but as you can see, her dress is covered properly. So I think Picasso had the right idea, but
Interesting.
So I have my own. I have others that I know how to do, so I'm doing that.
Good. Well, we're going to move around.
Well, before we do, are you aware that just down the street here, the gallery is selling Hunter Biden's artwork for $500,000?
Well, of course, that's what I'm saying. So they know better than me.
But do you know that gallery over here?
I know. I've seen them for many years. I've been here. My first painting I sold here on this block, 2001. So I've been around.
20 years ago.
Yeah. So it's beautiful. It's a great place. A lot
nice.
of great people comes around. So hey, I'm no different. I'm good.
No, you're
39
great.
years.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Just
you.
give us the
Well,
Instagram one more time if people want to look up your art.
Well, yes. You could look me up at Jean-Paint Louis Art Collection, Instagram, FAMEUS, Artist Living King. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you, sir.
speaking to us. Have a good day.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Here we go, Charles.
I mean, that's a prime case in point. I mean, you don't need to be in a gallery and sign over 60% of your winnings unless the deal is that the gallery is so powerful that they can take Man on the Street X and turn Man on the Street X into some famous name overnight. And there are some galleries that are that good. But typically what they deal with are they promote truly exceptional art.
Not crackhead art?
Not crack butthead art, and it's really we talk about the business model for charity fraud, the business model for this, and the business model for that. The business model for graft is to give somebody who can help you out politically or otherwise a benefit much greater than they actually deserve.
Right.
And then hide the gift of that benefit. That's the business model for graft. And so you take nappy wet behind the ears Chelsea Clinton and you let her into Stanford. So maybe she got in on her
She
own
can't even
merit.
spell.
Can't spell. I mean that's it's racist to spell, right?
Right.
So maybe she was ahead of her time.
Oh, maybe that gallery threw you out. You could declare that's racist.
Exactly. No, I think you're right. They saw they saw the microphone and knew right away trouble.
It's a setup.
Yeah.
Wasn't actually a setup. We were going to ask them legitimate questions, but they would have hated the questions.
That's all right. We had our fun. And we were showing people here, there's gallery after gallery. So Hunter Biden did not get into that quote gallery legitimately because of the intrinsic
Merits of his
appeal
work.
of his own art, which they didn't. I asked him how many paintings do you have? I don't know.
Is that what they said?
More or less.
Wow.
The viewers will be able to see for themselves. So I suppose we could go further down this block and then maybe over to the east,
Sure.
if you want, or to the west. We haven't been to the west.
I don't mind. I had hoped we would get an opportunity to ask what was going on, but do we want to talk, Charles, about some of the foundations that Georges Berger seems to be involved in? It's also probably worth mentioning that in researching the name or the guy who that gallery is named after, seems to be a lot of identity duplexing associated with him. I'm always very curious when I see multiple entries in an internet database for somebody who's 133 years old.
133, you said.
There was one guy there who was 133, so I'm just curious as to how somebody like that gets into an internet database, because he wouldn't have applied for a credit card, I don't think. He certainly wouldn't have an Instagram account or a Twitter account.
Right. Well, we're very early into the investigation into Georges Berger, but I think you found out that he is a person by that name is associated with a so-called foundation that may be linked to EcoHealth Alliance,
Maybe.
which is interesting.
It was called, what was it called?
It was called Wildlife Trust.
Right.
And there are many organizations called Wildlife Trust. This one should probably be called Wildlife Don't You Dare Fucking Trust Me. But, so we haven't really run it down to know that it's the same organization.
Whoa. This is Amazon Web Services startup, Loft. So like Amazon, I guess, is taking over this here office space. Yes, look.
Careful, Jason.
And then if you have a small company with a great idea, they want to give you office space so they can own your idea, similar to the gallery model.
Yeah, it takes 60, 70, 80% of your shit. There must be a sporting event going on.
Soccer, yeah. The crowd is rumbling.
But we'll go through here.
But this is interesting to observe how, you know, the first sort of year of this, Charles, we were walking around looking at everything closing, and now we see who's taking over these spaces.
Well, and now people are socially distancing. You see, 6 feet apart, 2 meters is not 6 feet, but look how socially distant they are. The COVID Delta variant probably knows, don't go past this mark here. You don't want to go in with this group.
So now, basically to walk down the street, you have to enter a bar environment where you're likely to get beat up. Oh, look at that dog. What a great dog.
Try to watch the game,
Certainly popular.
Yep.
Whatever that place is, and there's a good look with a no shirt look to your right.
Wow, that dude needs the bro. Man's here.
That's right. Triple F cup.
Yeah, exactly.
So the notion that we think back to the standards that were applied to the Trump family, and now think about the treatment of Hunter Biden. On that subject, and I'll get back to it in a second, Tucker Carlson, I tweeted it out, actually my brother brought it to my attention, thank you, had an 8-minute monologue where he read back at what?
Checkerboard floor. Sorry. Sometimes I'm going to do that for the audience so I don't interrupt you, but then you noticed it and it interrupted anyway. Sorry.
All right. So he did an excellent out loud reading of a portion of a tweet storm that somebody last name Cooper put out to explain why Trump supporters are pissed, justifiably. And he drew the tweeter or Twitter user, whatever you want to call him,
Squat.
just drew the stark contrast in treatment. And here we had the real outrage, if we think back not just to the election of 2016, we think back to the election of 2000. Hillary Clinton had no political credentials on her own merit, right? She was the wife of somebody who had been a politician. Now, I'm not belittling that. That's wives can be enormous, spouses can be enormously helpful to one another, but there's a big difference between running on your own 2 feet and your own track record and coasting behind your husband or wife.
Want to go there?
Yeah, sure. Just be careful. And so in 2000, Hillary doesn't have today an authentic bone in her body of any kind, whether it's progressive or conservative or whatever, or even her accent. But she ran to represent the people of New York, never really having lived here exclusively. When she ran, she was also living in the White House. So, you know, if she isn't the definition of a carpetbagger, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
And during
they just moved here to be able to run.
Right, and during her tenure as a candidate, the Clinton, though she took credit for the works of Bill Clinton and the supposed Clinton Foundation, no filing concerning the Clinton Foundation is accurate at any time, but certainly during the important period when, if we had a real press and somebody wanted to go and say, all right, Hillary, you say that you know a lot because you were there with your husband, and you say that the Clinton Foundation is doing good work, show us the filings. Where's the 1997 tax return? How come you don't have one? Show us the legal paperwork. How come you haven't registered to solicit in New York, yet Bill is doing that at Log Runway Restaurant in 1999? Explain that to us. But the press just gave her a pass, and she got elected senator. Some say she actually tried, she worked. She actually did try to, she went for some reason to prayer meetings. I don't know if that's before or after she met with her coven.
I was going to say, what religion?
Exactly.
Falima prayer meetings.
Exactly. Which way do you want to go?
Up to you. We haven't been down here exactly.
Yeah, let's maybe go to the right.
Sure.
A wise man inclines himself to the right. Perhaps we should consider doing that. But
let's cross the street to the
sure. So she, I would argue, got her first Senate seat without the type of scrutiny that really she deserved to have. And that certainly by 2006, when she ran for re-election, and when she had, of course, she had one term under her belt. She now was a Democrat from New York. She was known. She had paid, in theory, New York State taxes. And she was running for re-election, so she should have had an easier time of it. But she needed a lot of money for that primary and for the campaign. New York's a very expensive media market, and you can't just go the way Biden did in 2020 in New York. You can't just dial it, send it in.
Basement.
Right, take a lid. So, in the last several days, I've been going back over my extensive notes, which is tough to do because I have so many of them. But the 1 year, all the years for the Clinton Foundation are atrocious, their filings, but 1 year really leaps out as a year where it makes no sense, and that year is 2006. So 2006 is a year where they had to explain how they amalgamated the Clinton Foundation HIV/AIDS initiative into the main foundation, and they should have provided a breakdown. Fortunately, we have the police over here.
Yeah, those guys look potentially dangerous.
Right.
But the police wouldn't do anything anyway. So sorry, you were saying?
So the one set of numbers that just jumps off the page as being rancid is for 2005 completed in 2006, specifically on June 9th, 2006. The 990 for 2005, which was submitted sometime in November 2006, which also is rancid, both for...
Speaking of rancid, it's too bad the audience can't smell what we're smelling right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is the first precinct. Remember?
Right. So 2006 was a crucial year, and it was a year where they really had to explain, if they were going to do it properly, they had to explain exactly how much was spent on the Clinton Foundation Presidential Library, but with reference, let's keep going, with reference to...
These guys are all parked on the sidewalk, Charles.
they do this as standard.
I know. Okay.
Yeah.
But he likes the
Maybe somebody will give him a ticket.
Yeah. But so 2006 and 2006 for 2005, they should have really had good information on how much the Presidential Library and Museum cost. In fact, not by guesswork.
All right.
And the true state of the finances for the Clinton Foundation. And had they actually disclosed what we are going to disclose in detail to the doubters,
It might have upset you.
well, she would never have won re-election as senator, which means she would never have been able to announce as president,
Yeah.
which means that who knows who might have been president of the United States in 2008. So I tweeted out earlier today that the election of 2020 is not the first election that Bill and Hillary Clinton and others have tried to steal. And that's just talking about U.S. elections before we get to foreign elections.
And I don't want to stop you from saying anything that you want to say, but if statements that we make upset YouTube and get us blocked, instead of waiting for weeks to say, where have you been? People should become sponsors on Patreon and Subscribestar, and then you're going to get all the live streams. Please carry on.
Sure, and I should mention, I believe that Donald J. Trump is speaking right now.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Oh, but at CPAC, I'm so disappointed in that.
yeah, his handlers are obviously not listening carefully enough. They're
No.
doing their own work. So this is, I guess we could go, do you want to go west? Or,
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey,
Let's
if
get,
you're a cop, you can make a right on red in New York City. I didn't know that, Charles, particularly if they don't have the party lights on. They should be adhering to traffic laws first. Enforcing the law by example.
right. Well, down here, actually, this it has much improved. Many developers have come in and taken these buildings and gutted them and turned them into expensive lofts and apartments that probably are not selling that well. So back on this train of thinking, of stealing elections, which are and interfering in elections.
Bio-powered Saab.
Wow.
Didn't you have something to do with Saab and
Yeah, I
GM?
tried to sell 50% of Saab to Ford in
Ford was smart enough to say nah.
1990, I think it was.
Anyway, yeah, so the Clintons cheating, running, doing all
Well,
kinds
and I think it's fair to say that our tax dollars have been used, American tax dollars have been used to interfere in referendums, take Brexit, under Obama,
Right.
take the Kenya election under Obama, and other elections across the world. I mean, I think our CIA and other agencies have definitely been involved trying to either put somebody in power or take people out of power.
We really don't know what happened in Haiti.
We don't. We probably never will.
That guy was pretty diplomatic, the artist who we were
We're
speaking
probably
to.
pretty well known as a guest.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to say
I don't want to get shot tonight.
Yeah.
But anyway, so in a related topic, I know it won't initially seem related, that the FBI vault dropped 137 pages. There's that soccer game again.
Seth Rich stuff.
Yeah.
Why did they refer to it as thousands of pages and then only show 137?
It's two separate dialogues. So there's one dialogue involving the FBI vault, which is separate and apart from Ty Clevenger. So the FBI vault on its own, or maybe in a related thing, dropped. Let's either go that way or that. Well, we can't go through there, so maybe just want to
Whatever
get
you
away
wanna
from
do.
that. Let's go that way.
Sure.
Yeah. So sorry. The 137-page drop is quite interesting, as is typically the case, I think. I don't know if this is a rhyme or reason. The FBI and the FBI vault tends to put the really juicy stuff towards the last 10 pages of a
And
drop.
under white. Like to
But there's a lot of stuff in there, and at the end of it, there's a presentation about conspiracy theories being advanced around the election, and then there's a series of emails which may or may not be authentic emails. We know from the Snowden releases that our agencies have the ability to concoct emails in your name and make it look as if you sent an email that you didn't really send. So take the last few pages with a grain of salt, but wow, BMCC, what is that?
That's the homeless thing,
Really?
isn't it?
I don't know. Now, this looks very sunny, so I wonder
Unless
if
it's the Black Magic Camera Company. I don't think that's where they have their office.
do you want to maybe
I'm pretty sure it's a homeless.
maybe we should go up this way, Jason,
Sure.
to keep you in the shade. 'Cause we're both too hot.
Prevent the camera from overheating. Yeah.
So anyway, in the middle of that drop, there's a bunch of pages concerning interviews the FBI had, summaries of those, with Jerry Corsi. And I found it interesting because, again, until we see the source, all of the information, and supposedly we're going to get to see all the information, because Ty Clevenger has been promised that by a judge. Whether that happens or not, we'll see.
Right.
But the redacted ones contain a snippet that says that Jerry Corsi, who wrote the book Partners in Crime, and I tweeted that book out. I have no financial interest in the book.
But isn't it largely based on research
And
that you did?
to Jerry's credit, he credits me extensively in the book. But
Right.
for those of you who think there's nothing to the Clinton Foundation and that there's no reason for Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton to do what they're doing to target Trump and his supporters, go read that book, which came out, as I understand the book production process, advanced copies come before the production date to potential reviewers, and those advanced copies tend to leak out into the public domain, though they should not. I think the official release date of that book was in June. I think the advanced copies started coming out by May. And I know May of 2016 is when I started pounding the table on Zero Hedge and elsewhere and started appearing regularly on media of all kinds, mainstream and podcasts and non-mainstream. So that's when the assault against Hillary Clinton for her crooked foundation began. And in this summary of Jerry Corsi's discussions with the FBI, he claims that he gave a copy of that book to Donald Trump personally.
I think we're going to get too roasty over there on the west side.
Okay.
We'll just keep going
But
up
we
here.
could go
Or through here, yeah.
up Washington Street maybe? We just keep going all the way to the meatpacking.
Yeah.
In the shade. Showing people a part of New York. Notice how it changes from super modern to super falling down.
So Corsi,
So Corsi says that he gave a copy of his book in that time frame to Trump, and that Trump had read it. And so if the people go and read the book, you'll see it's based on my research through December 2015 and Jerry's research independently. So it misses a lot of the stuff that we've talked about on your show, our shows together, since June of 2017, and the breaking developments ever since then. But it's crystal clear that the various things that purport to be called the Clinton Foundation were never validly organized or operated, and that the FBI at various points in time mounted, quote, investigations, specifically from February 2001 to a date unknown in 2005, maybe during 2009, and officially beginning in January 2016, multiple investigations. And for all of their power, the FBI, as I understand it, directly has internal forensic accountants who are killer. I mean, literally killer. I mean, when they go after the books and records of a company, it's not a polite request. I mean, they have
so why aren't they doing anything? Larry Klayman sent me an article this morning that the FBI has spent some number of millions of dollars creating a database of people who were in Washington, D.C. on January 6th, but nothing about Antifa people who are burning down cities and doing all kinds of stuff.
It's outrageous. It's outrageous. But I just know, I mean, see, for people like you who know a lot about business but are not necessarily focused on the number side of it, it's like, I don't know, maybe this isn't true, but a movie has an opening, a middle, and a closing to it, and it's a movie. And to be a movie, it has to be a certain length, and it has to be either black and white or color. Financial statements, if they're audited, meaning checked by a really independent financial, competent firm of professionals, you have to have an income statement, you have to have a balance sheet, you have to have another check, which is a cash flow statement, and the information presented in those three statements has to reconcile to the penny.
Or it ain't a movie.
Or it ain't, exactly. And so that's before you get to the question of, can I even really audit this thing? Is it a thing? Is it a foundation? Right? And so the way you check that is you look at, for example, I mean, how tough is this? Bill Clinton gets overpaid for his stupid book, My Lies, A Life, or whatever it's called, more than $10 million. Doesn't say anything about his foundation in the hardback edition, which comes out May, June 2004. But then, in a year later, in the paperback edition and the afterword, he talks ad nauseum about my library and my foundation.
Why do you suppose he would do that? Why not just leave it out entirely?
Well, I think the Clintons see everything in national election terms. So after W won, but likely was hobbled by the election of 2004, open season began on who was going to be the Democrat candidate in 2008. That person needed to be, in their minds, Hillary Clinton. So that's what they were focused on as a guess. I mean, certain people, some people see everything in terms of sports. I mean, the people who are the lager louts who are out now waiting for or actually enjoying, about to enjoy the English soccer game. What's this?
Is it a band or something? Let's take a look. Wedding?
In black? Most people don't get married in. Let's not go past them, but
This is a wedding party or something.
in black, Jason?
I don't know.
Yeah, right next to a. Really nothing.
Not that
Smells good.
Okay, well,
Life in New York. Actually, this used to be down here. I think actually that used to be a furniture store, and I know it because it used to be a furniture store that specialized in Danish modern furniture.
gain of function furniture?
No, Danish modern, which is what
Danish furniture.
what my parents collect.
That's a new line from Anthony Fauci.
What's that?
Gain of function furniture. It could have come from a lab.
You got that one down, Jason. I mean, I think you should.
There you go with the theater again, Charles. The masks are not theater.
I think you should begin doing a daily
Fauci
COVID
brief?
branch COVIDian briefing.
It will be determined to be medical misinformation.
What does that smell?
This is tiki.
No, it smells like salmon, fish.
Yeah, it's not salmon, Charles.
Rats.
But welcome to
Rat sushi.
the Tiki. I feel like we're in Hawaii.
No lays though.
No
Aloha.
comment, that guy said.
No, he said aloha.
Oh, welcome. Oh, I thought he was
No.
defying your no lays comment.
See, we actually technically have the right of way here. It's a stop sign, but you always want to make sure they stop. So what were we talking about before? We're talking
Well,
about
we were talking about the Clintons seeing everything in terms of how they can
Right.
grift and include something in one book that's not in another.
well, so
Wait,
again,
I think we're getting clicking. Sorry, hang on one second.
cheering us on. Maybe if we keep walking, we'll get away from it.
The clicking comes from something else, but it's gone now.
Good. So again, in 2006, June 9th, 2006, is the first time the Bezos around the Clinton Foundation attempted to get an audit to explain the financial results of this crime, this corruption and money laundering factory. And so they put out financial statements for the period 2004 and 5, thinking that they could hide the results of 2003, or at least through 2003. And evidently, the folks probably calling the shots at the Clinton Foundation do not have enough training to understand that if you give somebody like me a balance sheet for 2004, and you give me the cash flow statement for 2004, I can figure out the implied cash flow balance sheet for 2003. And so, as we've discussed in the past, this evidence that the FBI had after they wound down their investigation, if they wanted, that all kinds of state investigators, Arkansas, New York, California, anybody who cared about enforcing the laws, could look at this first work product and say, wait a minute, you are saying here that $28 million of debt was outstanding on December 31st, 2003.
What happened to it?
No. In the 990s for 2003, 4, 5, 6, and 7, every one of those 990s, and in I think 4, there's 2 versions of the 990. Each of those 990s claims that that $28 million was not borrowed until February of 2004. So it couldn't have been outstanding at year end.
So they're just shuffling this money around.
Very
one way and the other.
very significant. By advancing that money in, saying that it happened on December 31st, 2003, you're stealing $28.5 million.
I don't understand, but I'm sure people watching do.
Well, because if your debt goes from 28 million to, let's say, 38 million in a year, then you would say that during that year in question, you borrowed 10 million. But if you start the year with 0, you're really borrowing 38 million that year, and you're only accounting for 10 of it. So they stole 28 million, and the people around the Clinton Foundation, the dumbass accountants at Beak Dumbass, were very centrally involved putting these financial statements together. They weren't simply taking work of management, in my view, and reviewing it. I think they were actually inventing these financial statements. I don't think the financial team at the Clinton Foundation is smart enough to produce these fucked up statements. And that's saying something. But really, I don't count myself or consider myself to be an accountant. I'm a financial advisor, an investor. I'm retired
But at the same time, you're probably a lot smarter and catching mistakes that accountants you would hire would not.
Well, yeah, because a lot of accountants don't really have.
Let's go over here.
Sure. They don't really have an expansive view of their responsibilities. So, if you go and you look, there's a lot of accounting standards. Some are contradictory and confusing and vague. But an elementary one that I found out myself, in certain instances, is that a good accounting firm is going to say, all right, you want me to do financial statements and a real audit for the William J. Clinton Presidential Foundation. You're asking me to do this work from an office in New York. Prove that you're registered in New York. When did you get registered in New York? Your book, Bill Clinton's book, says I began my foundation in New York in 2001. In July or August 2001. There's no evidence that the Clinton Foundation registered to do business in New York in July, August 2001. So a good accountant, BKD not being one, would look at this and say, I can't issue you an audit. I'll be complicit in charity fraud if I do. Now we can maybe go back to Greenwich. You think?
Sure.
Maybe
This is like definitely a spot that we haven't spent too much time roaming around.
Yeah, I think we'll go up to the meatpacking district.
Look at this
perhaps.
blown out spot.
Looks nice. If you like black paint. But so that really back in 2006, and certainly in 2006 was a year in which Bill and the folks around Bill Clinton were desperately scamming. You know the movie Desperately Seeking
Desperately scamming Clinton.
Desperately scamming Unity.
Oh man, we should use that. Desperately scamming Clinton. That's a good
Haven't we
title
already
for a
done that?
future show, Charles.
This is so dangerous. Go the wrong way.
Oh wow. You mean on the bike?
Yeah. I think this side will be, which is going to be better, or do you want to go one
They
more
look
block?
like they're 12.
And then, whoop.
Holy
Do you
cow.
want to go one more block to
Wherever
another
you wanna
avenue?
go.
Oh, we'll stay here. It's fine.
Hotel Hugo.
I've actually had lunch there once. It's not bad. With a friend of mine from business school. Anyway,
Hey Charles, look, $500,000 Snoopy art. No crack
you're thinking
involved.
small. I could sell that for $1 million.
That actually looks a lot better than anything Hunter Biden painted.
I would bet Hunter Biden isn't even painting the stuff.
No,
He's-
they showed him with a thing. in
that
his
doesn't mean
mouth.
jack shit. I'd want to see him actually.
He might have been trying to smoke the painting.
Is probably. Let's see. Things I could smoke: Parmesan cheese, paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try painting. Why not? We'll call it painting.
Roll it up.
Dad, can I have another $500,000? Sure, son. We'll put it in the National Art Gallery. But
The Clintons are
so
grifting.
yeah, so back in 2006, Bill
Desperately
and others
seeking.
around him were desperately scamming governments to create Unity, and the process of creating yet a new multilateral government organization. I think we go this way, Jason. Be careful though.
What?
Let's go one more avenue up, and then they'll take that one right up to
Desperately
the meat.
scamming.
So the process of getting a new multilateral organization up and running is a process that takes time, and you got to go through bureaucracy, et cetera. And governments, once they decide to do something like that, are loath to change their mind. So by June of 2006, the Clinton insiders knew that the money pot, the mother of all money pots, was going to come together in Unitate. Unitate being yet another pool housed in within the World Horror Organization, or the World Health Organization.
Charles, they got trouble in River City, which starts with T and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool.
For who?
The pool that you're talking about.
Yeah, pool, right.
Music Man fans will appreciate that.
Yeah. So they, Hillary knew and Bill knew that money was coming in. And that was a massive commitment from France being the biggest donor, the UK being large, Norway being big. Even Brazil was contributing, and I think Spain and Chile. And the only private sector or non-governmental organization that has contributed to this day and that is represented on the board is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So they knew they had this motherload of money coming to them beginning in September 2006. Yeah,
Larry Silverstein.
I know.
What were they building there?
Yet another huge
You're gonna
building.
have to pull it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yet another new empty building. And so this is
So the Bill and
shit.
Melinda Gates Foundation is the only private thing contributing to
to
that.
Unity, but the point being that when you look at it through a lens, Hillary, the W. Bush and the Republicans were tired, to put it charitably, as it were, had done a crap job. It was obvious that a Democrat was going to win in 2008. Hillary was like a little kid, grotesque little kid out of The Exorcist saying, "It's mine, it's mine, it's mine." you
Why
know?
aren't I 50 points ahead?
Right, exactly.
Maybe
But she,
everybody hates you. I don't know.
yeah.
Oh,
What?
333 Hudson.
Well, there you go. Perfectly timed, Jason. You know how?
Whitehall. What is Whitehall?
It's just the name of the street. I mean, there's a Whitehall. There is a Whitehall
It's
street.
got to be named after somebody,
And
right?
there's Cadillac across the way.
Oh, wow.
I
Is
think
that a
it's-
dealership or what is that? I didn't realize they had any.
That's actually quite a picture. You have Cadillac and not Cadillac.
Yeah, this is the Cadillac of outdoor dining, Charles.
Let's see.
But what is that Cadillac? That's not a
I mean,
dealership.
but that's like an iconic. It could be an iconic. Don't let him notice you though.
What do you mean? Oh, that guy.
Right.
Got it. Against
So the
Cadillac.
contrast, like that, there's a number of famous paintings that contrast.
I
Careful.
just want to look in the window of that Cadillac.
Well,
building.
well, if,
What
if
is
so,
it?
let's go over that way so we don't bother him.
Sure. But this is not the General Motors building. That's
up on, or used to be up on,
Rice Central Park.
right, on Fifth
And,
Avenue.
330 is this building.
It's all 330. Two entrances of 330. They love them at 330. So if we go behind the guy,
Yeah. I just have never seen this and was totally unaware there was any kind of Cadillac. Like, what's
all
in
the
there?
more reason not to buy a Cadillac. Like, why do you need the space? I mean, it's
There's
not
nothing in there.
There's no foot traffic. You get your pret-a-manger across the street, and then I think I'll have a sandwich and a Cadillac.
That guy's waiting for his Cadillac.
They should actually have a dinosaur shop next door. Dinosaurs and Cadillacs.
There's someone who watches the show whose YouTube name is like Dinosaurs Aren't Real or something like that.
They are real.
I mean, they're dead.
They're
but-
down in they're in Area 51.
Right. Well, somebody's trying to resurrect a woolly mammoth.
That's
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. So staying back on 2006, the various things that the Clintons wanted to conceal. To get the mother pot of money out of Unitaid, you had to have a theory that the Clinton Foundation HIV/AIDS initiative actually existed. So you couldn't wind that up before September 19th, 2006.
Something we were talking about earlier.
What's that?
Saatchi and Saatchi.
Oh, that's such and such, yeah. So we can actually, you want to go back over to that sign because it's shadier?
No, this is fine. We're pretty overcast.
But
Yeah, it's okay. It's not bad.
all right, so getting back to elections that were stolen by the Clintons, possibly, which has nothing to do with 2020 yet. In 2006, had they been forced to come clean and say, you know what, we began operations prior to March 23rd, 24th, 2004, ostensibly fighting HIV and AIDS as early as 2001-2, and we had no legal authority to do that, but Bill just said, fuck it, I'm Bill. I do what I want. And the FBI said, we're going to investigate you, and Bill said, that's great, perfect cover. Nobody would say that I was doing something illegal while the FBI was investigating me. Obviously, what I'm doing is legal. So for 4 years, the Clinton Foundation, from a bases in New York, not open today.
Is it going to be COVID passport services, GSA?
I don't know.
Bill
But-
Clinton couldn't have been doing anything illegal.
Right. So for 4 years, he's out pretending on the one hand to be a business development agent for the dreaded Ranbaxy drug company that distributed harmful fake drugs, adulterated capsules that may well have killed a lot of people and harmed others.
He openly refers to it as selling also. I mean,
Right.
at that thing at the Beacon Theater, he talks about selling pharmaceuticals.
Right. And so he was not registered as a foreign agent. Yeah, no, the light doesn't matter. Now, that, for example, I'm no expert on art, but that art is more interesting to me by far.
Well, clearly done by a skilled artist. It's almost photographic.
Well, I think this is an art school or something around the corner.
Ellis. It's a Brazilian artist, I think.
Yeah,
Oops.
Cobra. Yeah, that's gripping. I mean, you look at that not just because it's so large. That's Ellis, as in Ellis Island. Homage to.
Get focus on that because of the fence.
Wow, you could get that.
It's tricky,
You got
but
some mad skills.
I try, Charles. When it comes to camera stuff,
No, many things. So
here's the Council of Carpenters.
yeah, big. Jesus was in there, right?
I
Or
was
it
gonna
Joseph?
say.
Joseph, I guess.
No, Jesus was a carpenter, wasn't he?
Was it? Well, it went into the Father's business. That's standard back then, Jason. So
Probably wasn't in the Union.
that's in the Cliff Notes for the Bible. But so I used to live around here for a number of years, quite a few years, getting close to 111 Barrow, or at least Barrow Street. Anyway, if the Clintons had been forced to admit that there was no Clinton Foundation HIV/AIDS initiative, they'd never gotten official authority for that they'd never done audits as are required, that the audits that they put lammed on the public were all wrong, demonstrably false, then the people in the countries that has allowed billions of dollars to be sent towards crooked foundations like the Clinton Foundation HIV/AIDS Initiative would have risen up against the notion that United should give money to Bill and Hillary Clinton starting in 2006. But that didn't happen because people had learned, I would argue, through the creation of the Global Fund to fight tuberculosis, AIDS, and malaria, they realized that that thing was a conduit for billions to disappear. Roughly 75% of the more than 40 to 50 billion that's coursed through that piece of shit has disappeared, and nobody seems to care about it. So people learned back then that the UN and agencies of the UN are perfect entities to gather money and then circulate it around the world so it can be stolen.
Charles, wouldn't that thing have a lot of knowledge of hydroxychloroquine if it was fighting malaria?
You would think so, but it probably has more knowledge of, restaurant menus in Geneva and escort services around the world. Probably got extensive
Okay. We should be back here.
Good.
Charles, that was weird. That thing totally obliterated the password
Wow.
from the phone. How can it do that?
I don't know. Assholes
Okay.
who don't respect the law.
think we're
Just for
back.
people's benefit, if you're not familiar with New York law, when you see somebody puts their foot into the crosswalk or zebra crossing, you are absolutely supposed to stop your car. And of course, if we had police enforcing anything, maybe there'd be some revenue generated by giving tickets to the assholes who regularly go through the crossings. But down here, the sidewalks on Hudson are slightly wider, so it's nice to have these block after block of outdoor cafes. We're coming up here on Barrow, which is of course where I used to live, 2 blocks up that way, to the west. I think it's going to be shadier on the western side of the street.
Okay.
If you want, I'm just concerned about your.
I think that's a garden we've visited.
That's St. Luke's. Yeah, that's. There's actually, if we ever go and through the Ortel photograph collection, which we're not going to do. This guy's going to come into us.
You can't park here.
He's not parking, I don't think.
Just wants to crash right into us for no good reason. To
Parking
park
there.
in front of a fire hydrant.
Moron.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely back. That's good. I've devised a pretty solid method for
Don't
recovering
say
from this
it.
stuff.
But if we were ever to go through the extensive photo collection, which is in storage at the moment, there's a picture of me, as there would be for any kid on their first day of school, coming to school here at this place. And that building on the
Grace
corner,
Church School? No, this is a
this is
different
St. Luke's School. That building there, where I'm pointing, is where I think we were on this 3rd floor, I believe.
This is a cute dog, but an obnoxious guy to be walking him off leash.
Woman.
It's my dog.
Oh, well then it's an
Yeah.
obnoxious girl to be
No.
walking him off leash.
Great.
I don't really care. The law is you're supposed to have him on a leash. So respect everybody and do it. I am minding my business. This is my sidewalk, asshole. Don't do anything to attract my attention and I'll mind my own business. Shut up, you idiot. Fuck you, buddy.
Leave him alone. He can't help being stupid. So this St. Luke's is a big complex that I think they sold a portion of the back. And this is a huge, more than one city block, owned by a church and the related school.
Oh my God, look at the flag they're flying, Charles.
Pride, yeah.
No, that's the progressive flag.
Which, is it really?
Yeah.
I thought it was Pride.
Well, it's got that triangle on it. They keep changing the flag. I don't understand why somebody who is obviously doing something wrong can't just say sorry and put the leash on the dog.
It's impossible. So right here, there's a picture of me, obviously down about this level, underneath this, and you could. I forgot the school was set up in 1945, so I entered the school in '59 or '60 actually. We could actually. I think you're allowed to go in here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just walk in, take a quick look. It certainly seems smaller than when I was a kid.
I think that's always the way it goes.
Yeah.
And I bet you the cameras are new.
Yeah. Yeah, so the playground used to be over here. I think it still is. Yeah, St. Luke's School's off this way. And it has, it's funny, it has the world's most lackadaisical fundraising group I've ever known. Yeah. Yeah, this may be actually where they had the picture. These are the classrooms. That used to be, I think that used to be nursery and then kindergarten and first grade. And then this playground here, you can see, wasn't painted like that.
It
It
looks
was just,
modernized.
yeah, it was black asphalt. There was no mound, no.
Okay, hopefully that'll bring us back here. Let's see.
You back?
I think it will be. I got to check.
All right.
Well, I'm not sure if
Okay,
that
okay.
cut out because I said the only plausible reason for the FBI to be investigating Seth Rich's murder, alleged murder, is that he could have been working for them.
That's a Starbucks. The other Starbucks over there on Grove Street is very dangerous. And the police, when I was in there, they said, yeah, you really, if you want to go to Starbucks in the morning, you should go to this one. Well, that's out of business now. Are we good?
Yeah, I think we're back. People are upset that I yelled at that guy. The dog was cute, but it doesn't give you the right to do whatever you want. This is a city with millions of people living in it, and if you don't
Yeah, and the
respect
dog
each
goes
other,
off.
we run into problems.
Well, if the dog goes off the leash, bites somebody.
Well, or gets run over by a car or whatever. You just got to not be an idiot is the key, and then just don't yell at me when I point out that you're being an idiot.
Here's my street.
The Meadow
No.
is out of business. Charles Street, yeah. Anyway, sorry, Charles. What were you saying before our broadcast was cut?
Well, I was talking about how had the public known the true state of affairs of the Clinton Foundation in 2000, before the 2006 election, Hillary would not have been reelected, maybe, and she certainly wouldn't have been positioned to run for president when she announced on January 20th, 2007. And this is the standard when you see, when you examine somebody's life and you start seeing a pattern. So with Hillary, she cut her teeth. The first time she got her ass whipped was when she was on the Watergate team, and this is pre-internet, and there was one legal reference volume that had a case in it that was very important to the whole legal.
Went missing, didn't it?
That she stole. And the Democrat, it's alleged she stole, and the Democrat in charge of that committee thought that was so dastardly that he fired her ass.
These people were noticing us, Charles. I don't know if they're fans or just noticing the thing.
That's all right. They're probably just noticing who's this guy walking down the street with a camera. Or maybe they like the straw hat.
I think they're probably Charles Ortel fans.
I doubt it.
So Hillary steals this document allegedly.
But
from
this is
Watergate.
the pattern, you know. So if you have a piece of information that would either most likely hurt you, and
Steal it.
you hide that, and
Yeah.
you make sure that the electorate can't see it before the election, that increases the chance that you're actually going to get elected.
And they do that type
regularly.
of little incremental stuff. Little thing here, little thing there.
Right. Well, they've done it their whole professional lives. It's probably they get together. They don't celebrate Christmas. I'm just making stuff up now. They probably celebrate Santeria, or however you pronounce it.
Yeah, some kind of Luciferian.
Yeah. And they get together and say, we've done it another 12 months. We pulled the wool over everybody's eyes. Nobody's seen the diabolical nature of our frauds because we made sure to hide all that information. And let's go to the races again. This is the famous White Horse Tavern.
Oh yeah, look at that. Nice treatment with birch.
Yeah. What is typically, when you see a birch forest, why do you see it?
Because somebody has not yet burned it down.
Right. Well, because it comes up typically where there's been a forest fire. The first property I owned was 25 acres, mostly of birch trees.
Birch comes up after a fire?
That's what I was told.
Isn't there something about the bark that's very desirable?
Yeah, I think so. It's also, they're beautiful trees, actually.
Yeah.
It's in a big stand of them, a big forest of them.
Now, Charles, there was something else that you were telling me about earlier with, we're not ready to discuss that timeline about.
Right. But let's continue, though, on this idea that in 6, she gets reelected, concealing very harmful information about the Clinton Foundation. In 8, she gets destroyed by B-Rock and his team.
Right.
And ever since
After starting the birther thing.
after starting the birth,
And then dropping that on Joe Arpaio.
this used to be a great restaurant. It's obviously gone.
We're not going to talk about it today, Charles, but I have a lot of new insight into the birth certificate incident after having read Sheriff Joe's book and also having met Sheriff Joe. I like him a lot. He's
Yeah.
a super nice guy.
We'll do that in studio, I think,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
better to lay that visual evidence out. So, in 8, they fought like crazy. The official timeline we're going to reveal in studio presentations is a crock of bullshit. I just was checking it this morning. November 16th, 2008, the date that Valerie Jarrett actually may have signed the memorandum of understanding concerning the Clinton Foundation was a Sunday. And the preceding Friday, she had been made, I think, in charge or co-chairman or chair of the presidential transition team, and also the senior counselor to Barack Obama, a very powerful position. The notion that she would have signed this garbage document replete with lies about the condition of the Clinton Foundation on a Sunday.
Is she a lawyer also?
Liar.
But does she have a JD?
I think so. But the notion that she could have performed the diligence that would be required to support what the statements in the MOU, none of which are correct. I mean, on the 16th of November 2008, they had not completed an audit for 2007. The audit that was completed in theory on December 12th, 2008 for 2007 got the amount of free cash that was on the balance sheet wrong by not 2%, not 3%, not 10%, but over 90% wrong.
Doing these back.
Pretty
So, yeah, that's called a disaster. That's called professional misconduct. That's called lawsuit stuff. You know, you can't go out to the public saying, my charity's really successful, I have all this free cash, and that's why I'm sprinkling it around the world for fighting climate and HIV/AIDS and doing Clinton Global Initiatives and yada yada, when the truth is that the folks at United gave you the money to only send it, to use it to purchase drugs and not for overhead, to purchase drugs that would be distributed, lawful drugs, good drugs, not harmful drugs, in the poorest of the poor countries around the world, which in 2007, China was certainly not one of them. And that's one of the places where they were operating. So, the
We
Clintons,
trust China.
the Clintons' modus operandi, we go back to, remember Bill Clinton, right before he pardoned Mark Rich,
Yeah.
he signed various legal documents wherein he will say he didn't admit to lying under oath, but I would read it differently because I know what the meaning of the word is, and I don't quibble the way he does. I say he admitted that he lied under oath, and the judge, who had been his law student,
Wow.
jumped all over his ass, was really freaking pissed, yeah. And because if you have a high level, I mean, it's one thing if, you know, that poor old man over there, he's probably a billionaire for all we know, but that guy sitting, a woman sitting there, if she lies under oath at age 80,
Might not even realize it.
right, you say, well, okay, she's age 80 and this and that. But in the prime of your life, if you were a Rhodes Scholar, a graduate of Yale Law School,
And the president.
well, let me keep going. Attorney General of Arkansas, Governor of Arkansas for multiple terms, and the President of the United States, the highest legal officer above the Attorney General, and you're lying under oath.
Was he the highest though? He didn't
Absolutely.
inhale.
Technically, Jason,
Yeah. I think Hunter Biden might be the highest guy in government.
that about whom we know.
Halper.
So
We should rank the smartest crackheads in America.
that's right. You could do like, you know, they have maybe
Like
he
the
could go
Forbes.
into Playboy. You know, crackheads in government. Smartest crackhead, best artists who are on crack.
Well, when they talk about their crack team,
That's right.
this could be who's on it.
You know, if you had Lorne Michaels, if you were willing to really start doing funny stuff, you could do multiple Saturday Night Live routines on this. The crack team,
But they don't want to do that. They only want to do stuff that insults Trump.
and you could prepare for the Tokyo Olympics. You could have Barack Obama.
No one's going to be there.
Well, Barack Obama training the skeet shooting team. I remember
Why would he do that?
because he said, you know, when somebody was pressing him about NRA issues, the Second Amendment, and
He wants guns so he can.
no,
go
he
ski shooting.
he said that, you know, when he has free time, he likes to skeet shoot. Now I've done that.
I have too.
Yeah, and it's
What?
it's not. You have two. Careful. you have two principal types of skeet: the domestic and the international. The skeet are not
pigeons.
no, they're clay pigeons. They're not animals. And the domestic ones are larger and heavier, so they don't. They're easier to hit, right? International skeet, which are the ones used in Olympics, are small and light,
and fast.
they go like this as they're going.
It's more difficult.
Very, very difficult. And I only know all this because one of my college friends was on the U.S. Olympic skeet shooting team.
Wow.
And he took me skeet shooting. And he actually shot skeet from the hip, which is really, I mean, that's really hard.
Just what does that mean, shooting from the hip?
As opposed to like this, he's shooting like that. So to hit into that, and he shot from memory. From memory, and I don't know if it's a long time ago, but from memory, to make the Olympics, he shot 500 in a row.
Wow, holy cow.
And then they had a bake-off. Another guy shot 500 in a row.
Wow. I was going to say, I got 3 out of 4. I thought that was pretty good.
500 in a row. I mean, that takes a toll on your arms, or your hip in this case.
Yeah, because it's like a 12-gauge shotgun that you're using.
Right. And so he then got, his opponent hit 76 in a row and missed, and then he hit 77, so he won.
Wow.
So he's a guy you don't get into an argument with if he has a gun around him.
Especially not if you're a clay pigeon.
or a human. So I think right ahead of us isn't it Google?
It's to the right.
Oh, you're right. And to the left. And to the left is one of these
Gansevoort Hotel.
Well, there's only like 4 or 5 Starbucks Super Primes or whatever they're called.
Yeah, the Epicurean, whatever it is.
If you want, we can walk up to your 23rd along this way. Or
Sure. Yeah,
you tell me what you want to do.
That's totally fine.
It's huge.
Pretty funny that this Mexican restaurant used to be, I think downstairs was a crazy gay bar.
Was it?
The Anvil. With the Anvil.
Well, this whole area was pretty off limits. Like even when I was in college, I used to go rollerblading, and if you came over this way, it was desolate as hell, and there was like
dangerous.
Trans
just dangerous
individuals soliciting things. Hang on, we got clicking here, so hang on a second.
Maybe we keep.
Let's resolve. Click. I think we got it.
Something just happened.
I guess the soccer game. Charles, you've also got the very fancy Soho House over there.
I've been in there. That's a club.
I like it.
Yeah. Do you have to be a member or
be invited?
No,
by a member.
yeah. I went in. A member invited me.
Yeah.
But in
But
19.
it's also like thousands a year to just be a member.
Oh, that's...
To have the privilege of going in there and spending hundreds of dollars on food and drinks.
It's. I mean, when we get back from, when we ever get back from
the new normal.
The new normal. This really is on the weekends. Is a nice destination to walk around with.
Yeah, the Chelsea market is pretty good. I don't know. I haven't been in there in a long time. I don't know what restaurants are still open or not.
But if you have money and time and you're trying to show New Yorkers, people about New York, spending an afternoon here having brunch, looking at the shops, would relieve me once a quarter of any obligation to go shopping. I'd say to the people, why don't you go in the shop? I'll wait outside.
Right.
I hate shopping.
I remember one of our very first shows, you said you don't like to buy anything, and I was perplexed by that.
I like to invest.
I just wondered how Charles obtains stuff.
I have a lot of stuff.
Gotta be
Too
food
much stuff.
You gotta buy.
I actually, buying food at the grocery store is one of my daily pleasures. I actually enjoy that. But I hate going into, Starbucks Reserve Roastery. This is actually, I was in here once.
Oh yeah, this is the place, Starbucks Reserve.
It's quite impressive. It's 2 floors and really fancy furnishings and treatments and more than just their crappy coffee. Sorry, I'll get inside.
Got a little bachelorette party or something going on there. I don't know, Charles, if people appreciate the full extent to which your endeavors at Starbucks and supermarkets are actually anthropological studies in the insanity of the average person in New York.
Yeah.
Here's Google.
There it is. You see, you smell that coffee. It smells good, actually.
It does.
Much better than the acid-based grossness that you get in a standard Starbucks. I bet you they
I'm not
don't.
really a big fan of Starbucks at all.
Well,
That did smell good.
that smells different than. I think
They're
note,
roasting it in there, I guess.
well, note to the Starbucks management: try cleaning out the urns in which you store the coffee with effective soap or whatever, and then making sure that the soap is not in the urn.
Oh, well, now you're
Quibbling?
talking
Am I
sense.
quibbling?
No, this is sensible stuff.
So,
And Charles, for people who are interested, that over there with the portal-style windows, I believe, is the Maritime Hotel.
it used to be, there used to be something with those portals further down 7th Avenue.
Well,
And here's Budokan.
yeah,
Didn't
we
we just go-
ate there in Philadelphia. It's very kind of
That was
Larry
nice.
to have us.
Yeah, it was very nice. A nice meal.
Yeah, now this place here, I don't know the cabana, but that restaurant space is very nice. It's like open air, and there's a lot of nice stuff going on in that hotel. Although they have, and next to it is something else, the something hotel with one word that I'm forgetting right now, but there's a stairway, there's like a pool over there that's kind of nice to go to in the summertime, but it's like a metal wall, and it's like you're in a solar oven when you're walking up the stairs. It's a little difficult to take.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stay away from solar ovens, and also from the Branch Covidians are going to now come talking to us door to door.
What do you think of that? How can they do that?
I think it is just an example of these freaking annoying ads that you see on TV with some idiot, some kid, and there are smart kids, but some kid getting up there and saying, "You probably never thought of having a home security service that works. Sign up to Ring, and the cameras that we're going to give you for free will take pictures of everything that you do, so
Right.
you can be blackmailed." It's just all these bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, starry-eyed people who have no health qualifications whatsoever are now going to go around door to door, knocking on doors, and asking you all types of questions and putting the answers into databases. So let's say those are the official ones. Beyond that, they're all the scam artists. I get a call once a day, if not more than once a day, from some idiot saying that my extended warranty on the car, and the last car I had I sold in 2007, is up for renewal. And it's the same idiot voice, the same name.
Robot.
Yeah, and so
Just block it.
well, the second that Branch Covidians officially start going around with a hunting license to go to all these apartments, con artists are going to do the same thing. They're going to start knocking on your door and claiming that they have questions about this and that. And if you're dumb enough to open the door, they're going to come inside your house and rob you.
You don't have any legal obligation to speak to somebody just because they're knocking on your door, do you?
I'm not a lawyer and I don't know, but I'd flip it right around. If somebody came to my door and started asking me a question, I'd say, "Where did you get your medical degree? Show me a copy of it.
I just
Are
wouldn't
you
open the door at
are
all.
you licensed in New York State? Show me your license. Until then, get the fuck out of here."
Yeah,
No,
definitely. Not cool.
but yeah, that's not good at all.
And there was a press conference with Jen Psaki, and somebody asked her specifically about that Hunter Biden artwork, and she was just like dismissive and pissed off.
We all do that. Wait,
It's-
my art is going to come out next week.
But it's a legitimate line of questioning. I mean, if any Trump person was doing this, it would be all over the place.
Well, it's even worse than that. It's like when you have to ask somebody, you meet somebody, let's say somebody you're thinking of dating, and that person says, what I like to do in my free time? I like to jump out of airplanes and juggle chainsaws on the way down. You don't waste a lot more time saying, is red your favorite color, or do you like, gin and tonic? Just run. And somebody who would think that it makes to waste any breath trying to defend what Hunter Biden, and the Biden family are doing is beneath contempt.
It's anonymous, the people buying the art.
It's outrageous. And this is the same idiot person who was John Kerry's spokesperson for the State
Psaki?
Department. Yeah. She's a moron.
She's rude to the people. Like,
She's an offensive moron. Arrogant,
Kylie.
offensive moron.
what was her name? Kaylee McEnany? She was very professional, always prepared. Her notebook had like different sections for any possible question, and she would smile and be polite in a really rude press pool.
Well,
and Misaki's the opposite. She's being rude to polite questions.
so as a guess, I don't know this to be the case, but as a guess in the movie business, there's probably, various agents say, we got a film coming up. We need a woman to play the role of arrogant idiot. So give me a list of arrogant idiots. Excuse me.
All my agent ever said was, oh, you got a gig? Send the check for 10%.
But she's got to be high on the list.
Yeah.
So,
I guess I think she's tough or whatever, but she just strikes me as somebody who doesn't have good answers and gets very defensive and angry.
I've got a little fleck or something caught in my throat, so I want to
No problem.
get a soda or something.
Okay, no problem. Ask them if they'll sell you some crackhead artwork while you go in there.
Well, we'll just keep walking.
Sure. It's surprisingly hot today, Charles. The phone said it was 77, and I thought it would be
Well,
kind of cooler than it is, but it's not like it's been. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to do all this walking around and talking simultaneously.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a tiny, tiny baby right there.
in the heat.
Little Veuve Clicquot,
I don't want any.
calm the throat.
No.
Probably this place will have options. Here, look, Echo Prof. Oh yeah, I should call.
You want anything?
No, I'm fine.
It's a very nice jacket,
Thank you.
but you still
I know.
have the
I know.
tailor's
I know.
stitches in it.
Thank you. I know. Thank you.
Fashion advice, Charles.
I know.
Wait a minute,
right-
something happened to your microphone.
Sorry.
It's stuffed in the pocket. Well, get the drink and we'll worry about that later.
Here you go, Jason.
We'll just clip it on there.
Sorry. By the time I get the drink, I probably won't need it.
Oops, sorry. I'm gonna hit you in the face with the camera. Okay, there you go.
Be right back. You want anything?
I'm fine. Heroes apparently right here. So while Charles heads inside to quench his thirst, I'll just turn down his microphone a bit. And I'll remind everybody that they can sponsor Crowdsource the Truth by going to subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. If you've just joined us and didn't see this little video segment earlier, this is just showing everybody that Crowdsource the Truth Forever is back in action. And if you are a Crowdsource the Truth viewer looking for me on YouTube, I wanted to let everybody know that I've created all these co-host channels. I control these channels, and they've been created with the agreement of the individuals whose video content appears there. The purpose is to try to improve the resilience of Crowdsource the Truth as social engineers and jackasses continue to try to knock me and my valuable co-hosts off the internet. That's one way that we can stop them from doing it so easily. The other thing that people can do is you can go to crowdsourcethetruth.com and you can choose to sponsor the Counter Lawfare Fund, which is basically just a higher sponsorship level that's going to give you at the entry level a annual subscription to Crowdsource the Truth. You can also choose a higher sponsorship level, and then you're going to get perfect. Then you're going to get the option of having gift subscriptions for friends and family. Good to know that Charles has quenched his thirst. That's a well-groomed schnauzer, Charles.
Jason, I think we're gonna have to get you a
I just can't.
dog. And what else?
No, I don't know. Probably if I had a wife, a dog would be a little better, because then if I wasn't around, she could help take care of it. You got to lose that mask, Charles.
I will.
People are gonna. It's hurting your street cred. What are you drinking? Tea?
Tea, yeah.
Nice.
I'll get you one if you
Oh
want.
no. I'm fine. I think we're maybe kind of close to the end of the line. Was there anything else we wanted to cover here today, Charles?
Well, I think we can walk to your vicinity.
Well, absolutely, but I want to make sure we have time to.
Let's
cover
just see what there was.
What was that? Imogen projects?
No, there were other topics. Trump, of course, is speaking now, and we don't know.
That's CPAC, right.
Are there any summaries of what he said?
Well, that might be difficult to locate.
I know what I was starting to say, that if you have to even entertain a discussion of why it's potentially okay for members of a corrupt family who have no artistic training to be selling art for prices that are unjustifiably high.
Right.
If you have to waste any time trying to defend that, you're an idiot.
It's one of those things. I have a friend who was telling me about this lecture he had to give his son one time where he was like, listen, you're a smart guy. When it comes to what's right and wrong, if you have to think about it, you already know the answer.
Right, it's true.
It is true. Obviously, it's a
go this
scam.
side.
I mean, you know, at least if they hit it in terms of Hunter Biden having some legal client, okay, the guy has a law degree.
No, you should say, listen, for the 4 years that I'm president or 8,
You cannot do any of this
You
kind
just sit on the fucking beach, you know?
Well, he's got that house in Venice Beach.
But just stay there. Because you're going to have a stream. It is commonplace around the world for family members of country leaders to get bribes. I mean, it's just what?
Well, just look at how messed up this is.
I think this is kind of nice.
I mean, this is very close to where I live. This is a kind of a nice area and totally graffitied out and for rent. I've never been here, but this is some really super premium Japanese place right here. Oh, it's closed. Ushi Wakamura.
Well, that's what they say. You know, they have to say. Let's see the price list.
I've been by. It looks really nice.
It seems pretty expensive. Nigiri, $60. Salmon, $60. Omakase.
Go for the omakase, Charles.
158.
Well, it's the chef's choice. He chooses. You look like you could pay $158.
Well, I know. I went with a powerful friend of mine to a restaurant in the 80s in Tokyo, run by the emperor's former chef.
Wow.
And you couldn't go there without, you know, the special arrangements. And it was good. I mean, it's like probably you and the $200 bottle of wine. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to really know.
You know, yeah, it tastes like sushi. Yeah, that tastes like tempura to me. Yep, check that box. Don't
Did
show
Larry
me the bill.
tell you the story about how I think this was Larry, did some kind of wine tasting, set up some event in Beverly Hills where he got like $8 wine.
Oh yeah, he did.
Everyone was like, oh, this is the fanciest wine. And it was
Yeah.
just regular.
I love that. I mean, anybody, once you have a certain amount of money, anybody can go into a liquor store and buy an expensive bottle of wine. The trick is to do your exploration. There are many unsung but good vineyards from around the world, just like there are many unsung artists from around the world. I won't use the phrase sniff them out. Oh boy, this is amazing.
That this is available?
This is a real estate brokerage.
Right, and it's out. And they have this Blue Man Group style. I don't know what this is.
But this was a famous group.
Not anymore. Stribling and Associates.
I think I remember calling them up when it was just Stribling. What's this?
This is The Cell, Waiting in the Wings.
What award was she nominated for?
Don't know. Get Haunted. Emmy Award nominee. Oh. Jackie Hoffman. The prestigious Emmy Award.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's that prestigious.
They're very discerning. They only give them out to corrupt politicians,
Right.
like Andrew Cuomo.
You know what? I owe Bill Cosby an apology. I had referred to him as an Emmy Award-winning convicted rapist. He's actually only been convicted of, I think, sexual assault.
Oh, okay.
So, sorry, Bill Cosby. You used to be funny, now you're just kind of...
Is he the hey guy?
I used to love Fat
Sure.
Albert and the Brown Hornet.
And the Huxtables. I mean, honestly, that show, I believe that show may have been the first show on mainstream TV that featured a upper middle class black family, professional family, wrestling with everyday life and dealing with family problems
Unlike Good Times and whatever.
and Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Jefferson's.
I love that show. But
They were professionals. Jefferson's, they were moving on.
no, I remember.
That was probably the first one.
Well, Jefferson's, you didn't. Did it feature their house and their kids?
Their apartment. They didn't have kids.
Right. So this is the first one with.
Or no, they did. Lamont was their kid.
Was it?
Oh no, that was Sanford and Son. They
Right.
did have a son though, because I remember on the Jeffersons it started on
All in the
Archie
family.
Bunker,
Yeah.
right? And he was somehow
was a
doing
neighbor.
something with the son.
There was a neighbor.
They had like an adult son who was kind of cut out of the
Right.
separate Jefferson show. But
Right.
anyway, we're getting way into the weeds, Charles.
Exactly.
Here, take a look at that.
What? Boston
There's
Market.
just all the stuff under construction and the Empire State Building back there. Kind of nice, I think, for people to see this stuff. It's, I think there's a lot of people, Charles, who are maybe relegated to their homes for a variety of different reasons or don't get to New York City who enjoy spending the weekend out just seeing what's going on and how the weather is.
I know, Jason, you seldom get out anymore, but we could interrupt the broadcast or at least feature my buying you dinner tonight. You get a nice plate of Popeyes.
Oh, no thank you.
Now I understand why you live so close by.
That's the type of food that makes me immediately sick.
Thinking
I did
about
want to mention one other thing though about Cineopolis. Like I sometimes share with you these emails I get. I still subscribe to Variety from my days of paying attention to what was going on in Hollywood, and they have had certain key movies that, in my estimation, they want to convince you are doing well. Like this Scarlett Johansson movie about her character Black Widow. They're saying that made like 80-something million bucks.
That's not a lot.
Well, it's for the pandemic, it's a lot, and for the opening weekend, it's pretty good compared to the disastrous results they've had from movies like Wonder Woman. But it's just all part of this campaign where they want you to go back to the movie theater, and I just don't believe.
You agree with Diller.
He agrees with me because I've been saying that before him. But every movie theater I've walked by has looked totally empty. Let's ask this girl if she's going to go see.
She may not want to be on camera.
Are you planning to see Black Widow today? No, she's not answering.
She's got her earphones
But
in.
here's Black Widow, and I just think that there's nobody in there seeing it. I doubt that people are going to go to that movie at the theater.
The Forever Purge, that's what Biden's planning.
That is a Blumhouse film. I almost had a very significant deal with them to do a lot of 3D movies.
This, wow, out.
This was a terrible restaurant. I'm surprised it stayed as long as it did. Who has time for that, Charles?
24-hour banking. This guy over here.
Well,
Sad.
we are getting close to the exit point here. Anything else you want to discuss or leave anybody with?
We have this week, it's likely that lawyers for Virginia Giuffre, I think, are going to get information about funding that Ghislaine Maxwell may have gotten from any part of the Clinton Foundation, in theory. And as Trump, we were wondering what he might be saying, if anything. But he's speaking, may have finished speaking already.
I think that one was my fault, accidentally hitting something.
Never complain and never explain, Jason. That's what I think.
Well, I was just telling everybody that this donut place has gone out of business.
How do you know it's a donut place?
It was a donut place.
So you say.
It was called...
Donut?
Wasn't this the donut place? Maybe it's not the donut place. I think I keep mistaking it for the donut place.
This place was pretty, I mean, it looks nasty, but it was actually pretty good Spanish food.
Oh, it's delicious.
A lot of garlic. But really
Yeah.
good, actually. Garlic's great. Garlic,
Yeah.
white wine, and everything. And this is a famous old hotel that I guess is being
Chelsea Hotel.
gutted. I mean, didn't some very noteworthy people live in here?
It was Sid and Nancy. The death occurred in here. There's a whole, here's the donut factory.
Right.
Donut plant. Well, it definitely looks close.
So now my question's fair.
Here's a bunch of stuff. Look, Shirley Clark, Sir
Arthur C. Clarke, before he moved over to Sri Lanka to chase little boys.
Did he do that?
Yeah.
Didn't he write 2001 Space Odyssey?
Yeah.
The exploration of space was used by Werner von Braun to convince President John F. Kennedy to go to the moon. And he wrote 2001 Space Odyssey. Did you know that Werner von Braun married his cousin?
Did you know that his brother is a famous, I believe, famous musician, famous conductor?
Did they have anything to do with the invention of the electric toothbrush? Because they have that.
Mr. Non-Sequitur.
Well, anyway, Charles, I think that's it for today.
It is
Everything is out of business over here. I haven't been down this particular street in a little while.
Well, I watched actually a little bit last night because there's nothing on to watch per se. I had to watch a bit of $1 Million Listing, which I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Actually, you know what? That guy, Fred or whatever his name is, Frederick.
Yeah.
He showed me an apartment way back in the day
When he was
before
he was Frederick, when he was just Fred.
Well,
he's very wealthy now.
now he is. He was just a regular guy renting crappy apartments at that time.
That show is funny because I look at the spaces and yes, they're nice, and I say, okay, that's 2 million, 16 million, or whatever.
Look at all these places that are out of business.
But the city's back, Jason. It's back.
I don't think so.
And when the city is hopping, you don't see those signs, apartment rentals.
Right.
You can't, that's, when you want an apartment, you can't find it. And when you don't want an apartment, they're giving them away.
Right.
And over there is the lovely corner. Now with those things up, I wonder if they're going to demolish that building there.
I don't know.
The scaffolds, that's typically the sign that they're going to do that.
Where will bums and freaks buy hot dogs if they demolish that building?
Or here.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Charles. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great afternoon, and don't forget to become a sponsor on Subscribestar and Patreon. We got a lot of great shows coming up this week. Manny Grossman will be with me tomorrow, and then a whole host of excellent stuff happening throughout the week. I guess on Wednesday, Charles, will we look into CPAC, or what do we? Let's see how the weather is.
We'll see what happens between now